All right. Okay. Was hoping to get through a lot more articles today, but potentially we'll get through a couple more. We'll see. I think the plan now is to start with the getting good results from Claude Code, then jump into infinite pixels, and maybe sort of go through this article here about GitHub CEO resignation to join a startup. I saw a little bit of details on that, but I'm kind of curious to learn more. But yeah, so that's the plan. And then if there's time and I get everything else done in the day, we'll jump into one of the projects I'm really excited about, which is upgrading my AI video editor. The AI video editor takes recordings and then it extracts the audio and finds interesting points within the audio to make an interesting video. And so that's the plan for that. If there's time, I don't know if there's time. I don't know if I'll have time for that, but that'll be the plan. But at least for now, we'll be focusing on getting good results from Claude Code. And this was written by Chris. We will be reading this, and it's actually I don't know what the specifics are in it, though there is a really nice global that Chris has made here in the Claude MD file, which he open sourced it. Chris open sourced this for us so we can copy and paste it really easily and just make it our own. And you just copy and paste it to your home directory just like this. So it's pretty good. I'll read through some of it as well to see what that is. I don't know if I would use it. I'm getting pretty good results from Claude myself, but that's because I'm asking very specific tasks. So this will be a quick overview of getting good results with Claude Code. Getting good results from Claude Code. Well, these AIs, they'll write our code for us, right? And so what we can do is interact with these AIs to give us application adjustments or build entire applications from scratch. That's right. They'll build code for us now. You don't have to be a coder so much. There are some improvements that you can make when you're writing your prompts to Claude. This gives you better results. And I can tell you, I'm just going to jump straight into it. What my favorite approach is to be very specific and intentional about the change or the prompt that I'm giving it. So I'll say, I need you to go in to edit this file, and I need you to change this part of the file so that way it does this. And you've described the feature that you're trying to upgrade. And typically, that gives me the best results. And I don't have to jump around or unwind or roll back. It will just do it, and that's great. There are other tips, though, that we can get more information on. And that's what we're going to read through here with Chris's article. We're going to read through Chris's article on getting good results from Claude Code. So Chris has been experimenting with LLM programming agents over the past few months. Claude Code has become the favorite. I can say the same, although the new GPT-5 came out. The GPT-5, it looks like it's better. I haven't played much with it. I have used it for coding, and it's fine, and I enjoyed it, and it was really good. I like Claude Code. It's just so seamless. It's really nice. So we got Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. Oh, hey, Jimmy. It's good to see you. Well, I mean, I guess chat with you here on YouTube. It's awesome. Glad you're here. It's been a while, right? We've taken a little break from YouTube, but I'm back. And the plan now is just to focus only on YouTube, because before, I don't know if you know this, Jimmy, but I was doing more than just YouTube. I was trying out the other platforms, and it worked. It was fine, and I gained some traction there. But guess what? Now YouTube was my favorite. Yeah. It's been a few months since I posted, but I've started back up again, and I'm going to do live streams now. So I'll stream at least an hour a day or so. Is sort of the plan, like on the weekdays. Then we'll be recording videos. So that's what you came here right now. You just found out. You just got here right when we're doing a recording of getting good results from Claude Code. We just started. So this is a video. So I've got the live streaming, but also I'm recording the video. So this will be a YouTube video, and so that's the plan going forward. I'll be recording YouTube videos while streaming. But so now we can talk in real time. Yeah, sounds good. You'll try to catch it when you can. Perfect. Yeah. So it's the timing is interesting, but it will be various hours throughout the day. Because here's the problem, Jimmy. Here's the problem. I have actual work that I have to do on a regular basis, and I have a lot of meetings that I go to. And so trying to find a good time to stream and record has always been tricky. So now I have to be disciplined about it. And so that's the plan. So it's not without issues, but it's allowed me to write 12 programs and projects in relatively little time with Claude Code and AI generation code. That's awesome. That's quite a lot. 12 is already a lot. Okay, what do we got here? Hey, Sumit. Hi, Sumit. How's it going? What do you do? Oh, good question. What do I do? I don't know. What I talk to customers a lot. I talk with the engineering teams at PubNub. Sometimes I do code reviews. I do a lot of data and analysis and mining of our data so we've got 1 billion connected devices on our API, and we have a lot of data, like tons and mountains of data. And so often I need to dive in to the data to review it, to analyze it, to find different shapes and sizes, helping other people analyze the data, and using AI to write code. And that's what we're doing. So Jimmy, I work like crazy. Last week, I was tracking down memory leaks in prod, and memory leaks. Okay, so memory leaks, C is going to be your memory leak. The worst offender is C. Do you use Valgrind? How do you find those memory leaks? And you have to do it in production because sometimes it's not easy to reproduce. Okay, so you hated it. You were throwing everything at the wall trying to fix it, including Valgrind. Did you try Valgrind? It usually... Oh, well, see, here's the problem. You need to compile with GDB headers, right? Debugging headers. So that way, when you build your application, you can have the compiler strip out debugging lines, and it makes it very difficult to debug and backtrace and attach to like core dump files. You couldn't replicate it locally, so you had a Google profiler added. Oh, are we talking JavaScript then? Yes, it's really easy in JavaScript to have memory leaks because there's a lot of lexical scoping and closures, and it's really hard to find when these things happen. So are you talking JavaScript? You might be talking front end or back end, Node.js, Dino, or are you talking like React in front end or Vue or Angular? We use Google Cloud Profiler. Oh, what is that? Wait, what is Google Cloud Profiler? Lorax, the best 89. Hi, how's it going? Lorax, the best 89. How's it going? We're talking about debugging right now because Jimmy just brought it up. What is Google Cloud Profiler? And Sentry. Okay, Sentry, yeah. Data viewer and logging capture. Everything in Next.js, so Node was causing memory. Node has, for me as well, Jimmy, been one of the most challenging memory leak. It loves memory. V8 will just eat memory, and it often won't give it back. So Next.js on the server you're probably talking about in that case. Next.js, Node, and Prisma. Nice. Very nice. Lorex, the best 89 said, hi, you are Napoleon. You are Napoleon. Which one? Which Napoleon? There were multiple Napoleons. Or Napoleon. I knew them. What are memory leaks? Sumit, memory leaks are typically when memory isn't freed. Basically, when memory is not freed and returned to the OS when you intended the memory to be freed. That is common, the industry standard. Although a memory leak is just anything that has been allocated and it stays allocated, technically, I guess. But a leak, socially, we've all agreed that a leak is something that you unintentionally left in memory that you don't want. It's essentially garbage, and it causes a problem because you can have OOMs, out of memory errors, OOM. And these OOMs will crash your application because the operating system will say, hey, there's not enough memory for you and you're eating up too much of it. And so it will close your application, and it might give you a core file. And that core file will be the available memory that was left over when your application was terminated. And so, like Jimmy was just describing, you can have those memory leaks in a lot of different systems, including Node.js. So objects, variables, staying in memory after garbage collection, causing something was still holding on to it. Yeah. Napoli, Italy. Okay. So that's your location, Lorex, the best 89. You were in Italy. That makes a lot of sense. Italy is a country. It's a country. I can tell you that I've had some interesting interactions with Italy that have been problematic from a business perspective, but otherwise, Italy is great. There's pasta and pizza, right? It's world known for the cuisine, Italian cuisine, pasta and pizza. All right, Jimmy. Or referencing to it, yeah. So a memory leak. Okay, by memory leak you mean code we left which does not required. I think, Sumit, what you're saying is that yes, we have code that was left in the application that is doing something that is eating system resources that we did not intend it to do so. We don't want it to be there, but we left it there accidentally, and we need to fix it. That's what we need to fix, is a memory leak. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. You can stress test the application. You can stress test the code by running it very intensely on specific functions to try to find the leak. There's a lot of different approaches to do it. You can speak very good American. Excellent. That is awesome. From Italy, and you can speak very good American. Well, Italian, I cannot speak Italian. Well, I mean, I might be able to. You won't be able. So YouTube's doing a new thing. Check this out. YouTube's doing a new thing. When you upload a video on YouTube now, it will take your native language and it will dub using your voice to any other language. So like Italian. Hey, Olivia, how's it going? I'm glad. Good to see you again. I'm really happy you're here. We're reading the next article. Jimmy was talking about memory leaks, and so we kind of ran down a conversation loop here on memory leaks. And Lorex, the best, was talking about speech and language. YouTube has a new feature where it will use my voice, but speak in the native, like Italian. Like, apparently I will speak Italian now. I haven't tried it yet, but we might try it out at some point. I can speak pretty good JavaScript and Python. Yeah, those are languages. That counts. It totally counts. You can definitely count JavaScript. Those are languages. They're programming languages, and they count. Do you have any idea what is JMeter? JMeter in the Java world is usually there. A lot of applications will export telemetry about the JVM, memory pressure, queues, different aspects of how the application's running. JMeter is part of the picture on that. You'll be able to capture metrics from your application. If you're running JVM, though, that's only for JVM, right? I'm sure there are ports for other languages, but usually JMeter is talking about JVM with Java. And yeah, you can. So a lot of big data systems still use JVM, like big data systems for data mining and pooling. I'm trying to remember what. So we use Trino, and on our side, we ported over to it. But it also that is JVM. That is Java. So Trino is Java. It's a big data scan. It allows you to distribute a lot of workload across a lot of different servers, and then you can get all of your data and then do science on it. I filed up. I have a patent on some data mining techniques, and it uses big data and JMeter. Talking about JMeter, that's involved in the picture as well. I have a YouTube channel. You do? You have a YouTube channel? Very cool. All right, Lorix the Best 89, your YouTube channel. You will be speaking American or Italian, I assume. Wait, your profile picture got reset. You had a kitty cat. Olivia, what happened? Your kitty cat went away. That's unfortunate. I missed the kitty cat. Olivia, the cat. I want the kitty cat back. I've used React in front end and Python Flask on the back end. Yes. Your question, is that good? It's very good. Flask is a phenomenal web server framework. You get to use Python, which often Python modules will wrap a lot of the code in C modules. So you get the nice syntax of Python and a lot of the performance of C. So that's why Python is fantastic, because a lot of the libraries, they're compiled and written in C. And then you can wrap those function calls in Python, and then you get to use Python instead of writing code in C. And so you get an amazing benefit by that, because you still get a lot of the performance. Excellent YouTube video or YouTube channel. But yeah, Flask and React, excellent combo. Part of the job is picking the right tools for the job. And sometimes that can just mean language. It is the language that you are most productive or familiar with. Yes, that is a huge part of picking the right tool. A tool that you're familiar with, that you know you can achieve the objective and goal with, that is a huge aspect. So if you already know JavaScript, you already know Python, and you know you can achieve your goal and hit all the milestones and benchmarks, by all means, go with those. Like, you don't have to learn a new language. Like, for example, Rust and C, really fast, really powerful languages. Most of the internet today still runs on C because of how powerful it is. And Rust is taking over because it has memory safety, concurrency safety, and it is just as fast as C. Okay, so Sumit, how much... Oh, good. Olivia, you're going to get it back. Okay, you try to get the kitty cat picture back. Excellent. Thank you. I like the kitty cat picture. Sumit, how much experience do you have? Why you know everything? Do I know everything? I definitely don't know everything. You're asking a really good question. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm not an expert in Swift, and I don't know Kotlin as much. For example, these are mobile languages. I learned my experience is just based on distributed systems at large scale. So things like for web, that's what PubNub is. So we're a globally distributed network running on Amazon, AWS. We have EKS, which is Kubernetes, that runs and autoscales all of our pods. A lot of our pods are applications written in Rust and Python and some JavaScript, but mostly Rust and C is the majority of our network. And they run on Kubernetes through autoscaling and horizontal pod autoscalers, which most of the time takes care of itself. It's really great. We don't usually have to do anything special. We don't have to do a lot of manual tasks in terms of scaling. So it allows us to write a lot of the software and then test it, benchmark it, and find what the resources and limits that we need to specify for the application, and we're good to go. Yeah. So just to answer your question, I have a thirst of knowledge. AI has been one of the most challenging things that I've learned, and I love it. I've written countless neural networks from scratch without using any frameworks, and it is absolutely worth your time. This is the future. You should definitely take your time to learn AI as much as you can. The algorithms are math. It's all math. It's mathematics. It's matrix multiplications and tangents. Yeah, but it's worth it, and it's a lot of fun. But it is very hard. So definitely don't know everything. But I'm the things I know, or the things at least I feel like I get excited about and have passion for, I'll let you know. I'll tell you those things. So your channel is resetted. That is very sad. Lilorix. You just subbed. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. That's amazing. I appreciate your sub. That help. You're helping a lot, because this is really exciting to me. What we're doing right now is a lot of fun. We get to talk about intense technology, deep tech, and then I get to record videos and talk with you about it, which is great. I love it. This has become one of my favorite things, and I want to do this all the time now. This is all I want to do. So it got deleted. Olivia, it got deleted, and when you reset your phone. Okay. So Jimmy, you use Terraform and Kubernetes at work as well. So you like a lot of YAML files and HCL files, so like Terraform files. Yeah, we use a lot of Terraform. Actually, all of our infrastructure is completely in Terraform. It's how we do it. It's how we manage all of our infrastructure. So all of our EKS clusters is actually defined all in Terraform, 100% of it. And so whenever we need to make a change or an upgrade, because Kubernetes is coming out with new versions all the time, we just pop open the Terraform, and we might, I think we still do this. We still blue-green it today. So we'll just pop up new clusters and then update routers is what we do. But you do GCP, so Google Cloud is what you're doing. You use Kubernetes at Google Cloud. That makes a lot of sense. Jimmy, that is what we want to do as well. At some point, we want to add more Google into our infrastructure. We actually already have some Google of our infrastructure here, but we don't have enough, and I want more. I want more Google. They've got a great network. A lot of their compute is really powerful, and they've established a lot of really good fiber optics around the planet. All right, Sumi, in India, it's all about what is on demand. It got insane when you got to, there's too many things to learn. Yeah, you're too late. You're too late, Sumi. We're already there. And guess what? You can't keep up because there's new things every single day now. I don't feel that confident and scared of the future. Well, yeah, there's a lot of anxiety going around because everything's changing every single day, and it's scary. And it's hard to keep up. It's very difficult to keep up. Jimmy says, a few years ago, I got into building models. Oh, by hand? Like machine learning models. And from there, took some courses. And then on the weekends, you read ML books and practiced implementing papers for testing and learning. That is so cool. Isn't it neat? So you've done like a lot of outer product and matrix multiplications. Did you do deep learning? Have you tried, what are your favorite activations? Like TANH always seems to work really well for me. I love it. All right, so you're back. All right, the Lorix, the best. You're back. Okay. You love Terraform, Jimmy. Once you started using it, it made the base for everything. Yeah, it kind of does. It is really great. And it's 100%. All of our infrastructure is in Terraform, and we use it on a regular, because it's great because now all of our infrastructure is represented in code. And when we want to make modifications, we just update the code and click the update button. And so we don't have to click buttons anymore. And all of our state is represented in Terraform state files. So we are very happy with that. Change it to SYN for murder drones. Okay, that is scary. So Olivia, looking at your new icon, I can't see it so well, but yes, I can see it's it looks like an avatar, a new avatar. It looks good. We use cloud functions. Oh, Google Cloud Functions. Yeah. So functions as a service. So Google Cloud Functions is serverless compute. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I think Google App Engine was ahead of its time because it was sort of like the first functions as a service platform that made it so you don't have to deal with servers. Google App Engine is amazing, but you're using Cloud Functions, which is like the next generation of that allows you to write something in more than just Python. You can write in JavaScript as well. And Cloud Task Queues for AI tasks. Very nice. Yes. So here's your architecture. You would have a function, a Google Cloud function, and then you'd have a queue, and you would be able to push into the queue, and that queue would then trigger the function to be called to eat from the queue in the task. It would process, complete the task, mark it as good, and give you your output for AI tasks, you said. I like that. All right. Sumit, you got bored sometimes and you feel it would be nice to have conversations regarding work. Conversations regarding work. Yeah. That's kind of what we're doing. That's like the idea. Talk about work sometimes. It's kind of nice. It really is. I like it. Jim, you say never use anything but ReLU and TANH. Yeah. So ReLU is great because it's there's no like multiplication. So like TANH uses a lot of multiplication and I think there's some division, but ReLU is just a comparator. So it checks to see if it's within a range and if it's above or below a certain range. So that way it does similar work, but it's a lot less compute intensive. When you're in computation, there are different operators. Each operator has a different amount of, consumption of resources on the CPU. So you've got addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then you've got flow control. So it goes, flow control is the cheapest. Addition and subtraction are the slightly more expensive, but not that expensive. Multiplication is even more expensive, and division is the most expensive. So if you can eliminate multiplication and division, which is what ReLU does, you get significant performance gains, and that's why ReLU is amazing. I like TANH because it does cost more compute, but if you get into this, check this out. When you get even further into AI and optimizing, you can get into programming CUDA and fused kernels. And when you have access to the GPU compute shaders or the compute kernels, you can merge multiple steps into a single kernel to make a super kernel or like a mega kernel. And when you do that, you dramatically accelerate the performance of your training and your AI inference. This is because the most expensive part is transiting those floating points numbers from the CPU memory to the GPU memory when you're training a model. And if you can keep all that compute inside of the GPU as much as possible, you net significant gains. And so you can make really fast AI models by doing that. And so that you really get into it, and it's really a lot of fun. You never use, unless you're doing some binary classification. Okay. Yeah. So sigmoid is good for binary, or you can do 50%, right? So at 50%, when you're doing binary classification, if the output layer and the final layer, you have it greater than 0.5, you round up to 1, and then below that you can round down. So you could use sort of like that as an output for binary classification. You like ChatGPT, the WAC says. Yes, ChatGPT is really powerful, and it helps a lot with coding. And we're trying to get to this. I only got to like the first sentence of getting good results from Claude Code. we kind of got fun. Yeah, min max. Yeah, so min on the 0 or X. Yeah, so that's a way to do it for it. Work from home, WFH. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Hey, Kaushik. Hi, how's it going? I don't know if you're still here. I'm like trying to read all the chat messages, and I'm running out. I'm a little slow on the reading because I keep having comments and opinions for all these messages. But Kaushik, it's great to see you. Sumit, do you teach as well? We can. So one of the ideas is more content. We can do some training courses, including some basics, some Python. We can do some AI stuff. We can do some GPU kernel optimizations, writing our own kernels. We can do the introduction to AI, where you can just do basic machine learning, like linear regression, which is the beginning. And you don't need to get into multi-dimensional aspects to it right away. You can get to it later because it's just all math. That's all it is. It's just math. Llama is the best. So when you say Llama, are you talking about Facebook's Llama? Or are you talking about Ollama, which is the sort of a runtime that runs open large language models? I think you're talking about Facebook's model. Jimmy, yes, sigmoid, mainly for the output layer for binary. Yeah, That makes a lot of sense. I like sigmoid because it helps add some smoothness to your gradients, especially when you are on your output layer. When you're training through back propagation, you want your gradients to be nice and smooth over your weight modifications. So that I think that typically allows you to have a little bit of faster learning rate, and it lets you train a little bit faster. Obviously, these days, when you're training AI, you won't have a static learning rate. You might have like when you're doing gradient descent, you'll apply all the training parameters, all of your learning data, all your training data stochastically, which just means random. I don't know why math does this. Have you ever noticed this? Check this out. In math, they like to use fancy words. They use really fancy words, but there's other words that they could have used instead. For example, stochastic. That's a really fancy word. It sounds like math, and it sounds like college, and it sounds hard. But it just means random. That's all it means. Why couldn't they just say random? I mean, why? What was the deal? Yeah, sigmoid main for the output. Yes. All right, so now I can get back to some of the video here. Oh wait, no, just kidding. Thought I have issues fighting exploding and vanishing gradients. Yes. So that's one of the things. That's one of the biggest challenges in AI when you're training is dealing with overfitting or underfitting, and each layer can have points of the values in the matrix will get too high and they'll like peak out to infinity, or they drop down to negative infinity, or they pool out in such a way that they just get so close to the center that you can never unstick them, right? So that's vanishing gradient, where they just get close to zero and they never escape. You can never escape when you get close to zero. Exploding is when it goes up or down too far, and it's difficult to get it back. So you want smoothness on your gradients. When you're training a model, you want it to be as smooth as possible to help. Also, you want it smooth because then it helps generalize. And that's the whole point of AI, is it needs to take in all the data and find the center point of generalization. So that way, when it sees data that it's never seen before, it can make a prediction of what the answer actually is. And that's like the whole point. And so you need it to be smooth. And you want to avoid exploding and vanishing gradients as much as possible. So intelligenza artificial is ChatGPT in Italian. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right, that answers that question. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's get back to this article. Jumping back to this article here really quick. All right, here we go. So Chris, I believe, right? Was it Chris? Yeah, Chris says that he's written 12 programs. So it's really easy to write a lot of software really quickly with these AI models. And it in relatively little time. And Chris feels like he would not have been able to do this in the same amount of time without using Claude Code or without using an AI code generator. It's code generation using AI. Most of these applications, Chris would not have ever bothered writing without Claude Code, because simply they would take him too much of time. Yeah, so a lot of code these days is now going to be written because the AI does it so much faster. And the amount of effort to get something out the door and working has become so much easier. A list is included at the end of the post. Oh, let's jump to the end really quick. Where's the end? Let's see let's see where the end is. All right, we're jumping to the end. I want to see what it is. Oh, okay, so these are GitHub code projects. All right. So let's see. HTML and XML aware reverse proxy. Very nice. Solarized variant. Oh, so this is code syntax highlighting. Light and dark modes supported for VS Code. Solarized is a very nice syntax code highlighting. I love it. It's a good one. RSS feed of a Flickr photo stream of you or your friends. Okay, so a personalized RSS feed for photo streams. Quickly find and edit untitled photos in your Lychee photo library. That's a good one. MQTT, report Mac OS screen lock status to an MQTT broker. Oh, that's kind of neat. Okay. I don't know why you would want to report your screen lock status. Maybe so you can tell that the workstation is active or inactive, right? So you would have software installed on a box or on maybe some employee's laptop, and you can tell if they're active or not, right? If their screen was locked or if they're actually doing work. All right. Jimmy, what are you saying here? I can't stand the thought of being restricted by a subscription to do the work I want to do. Yeah. Okay. So you don't have to be so much, because there are some pretty good open source coding models. So for example, OpenAI just released GPT-OSS. You can use it as your coding agent. You don't have to buy a subscription for that. You can have the coding agent do it for you directly. And there are a lot of Claude Code style CLI code generators that let you just plug it in right away. And so you can have a similar experience to Claude Code, but you use open source models, and they do a good job. So you don't have to pay any of these big corporations. But yeah, it is a subscription. Here's what we do at PubNub. Here's what we do. We, instead of buying a subscription for all of our employees, we use the pay per use model, and we have a leaderboard for all of our employees and says, hey, who's winning? Who's using the most AI? Who can use the most AI? And you win. You win it using the most AI. And it's actually kind of counterintuitive, because the more AI they use, the more expensive it gets. And it's like thousands of dollars of code generation. But it turns out the efficiency gains are so worth it. It is so worth it. And we're still learning. It's getting better. And it's worth it to us. And we believe in it because we've seen the efficiency gains. It's so good. In Italy, it is currently at the beginning of the next day. That is very late. You are up late. You're up very late. Sumi, voice is good. Voice is good. Video is buffering. Uh-oh. Are you serious? Uh-oh. Oh, is that, or having, hold on. Is there like a stream issue? Let me see here. No. There's no dropped frames. Okay, so this might be a your side of the thing, because I'm looking at the status of yeah, we've got a good connection. We're doing good. We're doing good. There's no problems. There's no problems, Sumi. We're good on our side. Sorry about the video buffering. Okay. Jimmy, or having to pay a subscription to be productive. Yeah, isn't that terrible? It's I call that a problem, because if this is becoming the new standard, the way that we write software and we code, but you have to pay money to be as effective and be on the same level as everyone else, that seems problematic, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem problematic and kind of unfair? You have to pay extra money to now be at the same level as everyone else, but you're using an AI to do it for you. That just is kind of rough. Yeah, you have Olama, but don't want to use the resources running a local LLM. Yeah, it is. It completely takes over your computer. Buying like a Mac Mini, like even the first M1 or M2 with enough memory will let you run most of these, and you can have them. You can use it like as a server. So you can, on your local network, you just plug it into your router, and then you start Olama with the model, and then you can use the HTTP API, the REST API, to do this for you. And so that allows you to connect over your network, and then you can have a local running model, so you don't have to pay a subscription for it. And that's a good. Oh, you have an M3. Even with an M3, you only have an M3 MacBook. Well, guess what? I don't even have an M1. I am. Eventually, I will upgrade to the new Apple Silicon. Yeah. I don't have an excuse other than I'm just frugal. Yeah, it must be YouTube sort of buffering. Yeah, because I think we're still no drop frames. Just double checking here. Yep, 0 drop frames. We're doing good. We're doing good. All right, the Larks, you have to sleep because it's so late. Next time, definitely looking forward to seeing you again. Yeah, that is a good idea. Mac Mini and a home LLM server. Isn't it good? Because now you can, here's the really cool thing. And this is what no one is talking about. Listen to this. Check this out. The GPT OSS, OpenAI's open source models, have really good tool usage capabilities. It's called function calling. If you look up OpenAI function calling, it lets you programmatically interact with the AI in a structured fashion. Instead of just getting random text character outputs, you can have the AI forced to give you back a specific JSON format, basically. You can always force it to give you JSON, and it's always parsable every single time. And so, oh, you were just kidding. Not going to sleep yet. That's what I do. That's usually when I'm scrolling on, like, I'm just like watching funny videos and it's time to go to bed. Just kidding. Just going to keep scrolling. Yeah, I do that all the time too. But yeah, so Jimmy, with your home server and an LLM and the GPT OSS, you can do some pretty cool things now because you can use its function calling and you can ask it to make any sort of decision you want. So you just give it input. It can be, any kind of text or sensor data or any request or voice, right? Whatever it is. And then it will give you JSON back. You can take that JSON and then have your computer do whatever it is that the LLM is asking you to do. It is really powerful. And it is the way to start new businesses today. If you're going to start a new business, you can just take this off-the-shelf model and you don't have to pay a subscription or anything like to anyone. You can just do that. And it's really cool. No one's doing this, or there are a few people who are doing it, and they are going to have a good business, a very good business. And tell you what, everything can be automated today, and AI is just, it's there. It doesn't have to get any better. It's already good enough. Yeah, structured outputs like that, my entire job right now. I work at an AI audio book platform. I'm sure I can set something nice up at home. Really? So you work an AI audiobook platform. That is very interesting. I mean, that is a little bit revealing. There are not too many AI audiobook platforms out there. Hello, Olivia. Hello, comrade. Good to see you. Glad you're here. See your profile picture is still, looking good. Very nice. All right, now we read through the comments. we can get back to this video really quick. And what else do we got? What else? So all these were written by AI. So all these GitHub repos. So we've got a title for Bird Buddy photos in your Lychee photo library. Okay, so you can find names of birds. Use local LLMs to organize your unsorted photos. That's a really good idea. We were just talking about tool calling, and you can use a local LLM to sort through your photos and tag your photos and do a whole bunch of things. It's really cool. I like that idea. That's pretty smart. Okay, struggling to land a job as well. Full stack web dev. Considering expanding my skills by learning native mobile development, especially Kotlin for Android and React Native also. Okay, yeah. So Kotlin is the best because it covers the majority of the world. Most people on the planet today have Android phones, including myself. I like Android. Don't get me wrong. I love Mac and the hardware and the software is great. The Android phones, they're always a step ahead by half a decade at least. The technology is always better, and my phone is super old, but it works. It's super fast, and it lasts. It's great. Kotlin is amazing. That's a really good language to learn to expand your skills. But Nashed, also expanding your knowledge into AI is really good. If you get the chance to learn some algorithms and things like that. Jimmy was just describing various algorithms and some of the foundational aspects to AI that are basically included in every single model. All models, including ChatGPT, they all use outer dot product when they're computing, right? It's all deep learning, and they all use, it's probably a lot of ReLU. There's just a lot of different algorithms that are just foundational that exist in from the tiniest AI model all the way up to the big Ginamundo ones that can only run in the super data centers. So AI as well, if you get the chance, with Python. Python will be the one to go. But yeah, Kotlin for Android, it's going to be huge. So Lorax, you're still awake. On ChatGPT, I literally search how to keep mute my sister. What does this mean? What are you doing to your sister? What is happening here? Okay, can this improve my chances of getting hired? So yeah, here's the things that we're looking for at PubNub. This is the things that we're looking for. Generative coding skills. Can you use LLMs and AI models to write code for you? And can you use them to do, write good code? Because it's still a skill, and they are getting better, but they're already at the point where we're using them every day instead of writing code manually. It's sort of like it's kind of like Photoshop. Think about an AI like Photoshop. So you've got the pencil tool where you can sort of pencil in every pixel. That's the same as typing on a keyboard and keystroking. But with AI, it's like you get a giant brush, and you get all these like other tools that are like photo filters and things like that. And so that's kind of like what it is with generative coding. You get a very large paintbrush. And so we want you to be very good at this paintbrush because it's a new kind of skill. You need to be good at the Photoshop version of AI code generation, essentially. To get hired is a challenge because it's, the opportunities are saturated. But you can stand out if you're using the latest technologies and you also put extra effort into it. Sort of if there's a business that you're applying for, you want to connect directly with the people who are working at the company, like on LinkedIn, for example. And you also want to show, because you want them to promote you internally. Like, hey, there's this great applicant that built this really cool application that uses our technology or uses adjacent technology in the field, right? So if you're applying for an AI company that analyzes images for anomalies, for example, you can build something similar and say how you can improve their product and that you want to do that and join the company to do that. That's really good. That's a good way to do it. All right, here we go. We got more questions. So Jimmy, work on some AI apps. Yes, that is a good way to improve chances of getting hired. That might help the portfolio. And everyone wants agentic developer now. Yeah, that is the latest thing. Agentic developer, being able to leverage agents to code the best. And that's actually what we're talking about right now is Claude Code. And this, we were just walking through how to better use Claude Code. And so this is sort of skill building. This is kind of what we're doing right now. We're doing skill building conversations. So can I apply to PubNub? You can. We are currently, we have specific roles in some countries, in some specific countries. You can check it out. Definitely, you can Google for PubNub roles, and that will give you the answer based on what's available. And yes, LLMs. Yep, LLMs. And build in public. Open source. Jimmy's talking about GitHub, right? You want to about GitHub. People will come to you. Make yourself known on LinkedIn. Yeah. Yes. So you got to be these days as well, just as much as ever. Everything is social. Like the internet became with Facebook and Twitter, X, Instagram. Everyone's kind of accepted this pattern of public. And with GitHub, open source code, and LinkedIn, you you want to post everything there, and you want to be active in those places. So that's actually a really good tip that Jimmy's saying. If you become active on LinkedIn and you post a bunch, this also creates sort of a chain of experience and examples of your activity. This is really good. It's like it's a checkbox these days. So that's actually really helpful. Lorax, you say, this is me with my sister. Okay. So your sister is causing some frustrations. So how ChatGPT will help you. Russia. Yes. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. That was neat. It appeared on the screen really quick. I figured it was a Russian name, Olivia, and now you've got your Russia flag. Okay. Russia, indeed. There we go. Perfect. Sounds good. Keep everything up to date. All right, so we just checked out a list of the included posts, a list at the end, which is kind of neat. And so what are we doing? So Chris says that I'm still far from Claude Code expert. It is a challenge. There is a lot to learn still, and I have a backlog of blog posts and documentation to review that might be useful. But, and this is crucial, you don't have to read everything that's out there to start seeing results. It is true. Probably the best thing you can do right now is just jump right in. Jump straight into Claude Code and just try it out. Maybe read a little bit, but you don't have to go crazy. You don't even need to read this post that we're reading right now. Just type some prompts and see what comes out. Yeah, that's the idea. That's probably the best thing to do, because you'll start learning the edges because you can have a very broad stroke with the paintbrush on the code generator, and it can be too broad, and you won't get what you're looking for. And then if you start, getting a little more fine tuned on it, you'll start getting a lot more what you're looking for. But you don't want to have to type too much, because the whole point of this tool, these code generators, is to give you a productivity boost and to help you out a lot throughout your day. So if you're overworking the prompt too much and you're creating these beautiful, super fine-tuned prompts, then you're not really saving time, right? You're not saving too much from that perspective. So the best thing to do is just try it out and find out where the barriers are. I think that's the best. All right, Lorix. In Italy, there is an AI. His name is Gemini. That is Google. Yeah, Google Gemini. And so Google Gemini has actually been on the leaderboards, and has been up there for a long time. Google is at the forefront of AI, hands down. No matter what everyone else is at, where they're at now, Google is. They're the smartest. They're the ones who got this started. They have their own framework, TensorFlow, and they have their own TPUs, their own dedicated AI chips that are accelerators that they've built, and they did all this before NVIDIA even skyrocketed to $1 trillion company status. Okay. That said, because I wrote up this for a job application, here's how I'm getting good results from Claude Code. I've added links to some examples where appropriate. All right, Jimmy, you love Gemini for app usage. It makes the most sense to build around me. So so you use Gemini to actually use other applications. Is that what you're saying? The Flash models are most cost effective. Yeah, Gemini Flash. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So if you think about it, and you're building AIs, agentic AIs that are using systems, Google's Gemini is probably the best at the computer using, because it's got really good vision, right? It's got really good computer vision. Or I guess photo vision, right? So screen caps and things like that. And it does a really good job at controlling things. So I think that's really powerful. All right, we're almost We're almost through this article. I want to get through this article really quick, and then we'll be good to go, and then we'll be wrapping up. So that's the plan. So that's what the plan. We're gonna get through this article. We'll keep on going, and then we need to take a break after, and then get going from there. That'll conclude it for the day once we're done. So right now the plan is we'll get through this article, and then we can call it there. And then I have actual work that I got to do. I have to actually do some work things. So here we go. All right, a key writing aspect when you're writing Claude Code and you want to get a really good output for Claude Code is clear specs. So this is like spec-driven development, essentially. So you want to specify your exact desires on the output, which provides the context of the agents as it works in the code base. Oh, we've got an example here. Let's check out what the example is really quick. Here we go. Here's one of the specs. All right, Nishad, you've been offered a React Native front-end project for an international money transfer app. This could lead to a potential referral. If my work impresses them, we'll try to add something AI. Ooh, yeah. There you go. Adding in AI will definitely be impressive. Okay, Loax, you're tired. It is very late in Italy. It makes a lot of sense. It makes sense that sleeping is happening. We'll catch you later. We'll see you next time. Look at this spec. Okay. This is overkill. One of the recommendations for getting good results from Claude Code is writing a spec. This is too much, in my opinion. I mean, this is a little heavy. Look at this. I guess you can copy and paste it because he's open sourced this spec for us, and there's a lot of specs out there. But, I mean, this is too much. These models, they're kind of good, but they're not good enough to maintain this level of context. Because certain things will get lost. They'll lose some things. The attention's difficult to keep. And having too much context, the model is not going to be able to keep up. This spec is a little intense, for my opinion. Is there a different example here? Do we have a different one that's a little bit smaller? Nope, just as big. Okay. Well, this is neat. So you include the schema. It's good to include this in your application. You might not necessarily need to put it into a spec, but having the schema right there is actually pretty powerful. Having document for the agent that outlines the project structure. Yeah, okay, so this is important because every time you run Claude Code or any other AI model that's going to be a code generator for you, it needs to review the code project. But if you have a nice outline, that it only needs to review a little bit and it doesn't have to go reading through all your files, which is expensive and slow. And it might not get everything right. So this is actually okay. So this tells you the code project, and you don't have to write this. You don't have to write this spec yourself. You can have the AI do it for you. You can just say, hey, Claude, can you write this spec, a spec file for me based on this project repository? And then it will one time write that spec for you. So I would say this is a good recommendation, a very good recommendation. Ask the agent to perform code review on its own work is surprisingly fruitful. So that's actually kind of neat. So once the AI wrote the code and it's done, you can go back and say, hey, can you do a code review of this code? It doesn't necessarily know, especially if you start a new session, that the code was generated by itself. It can go back and it can make modifications. Things like, let's reduce the code, but maintain the same level of functionality. And finally, have a personal global agent guide describing the best practices for agents to follow, specifying things like problem-solving approaches and the use of test-driven development, TDD. That's important because one of the things that often don't come with a lot of these projects that are built with AIs are tests. And you want to make sure that, because tests help maintain and tamp down tech debt of your application in your project. You want to make sure that tests are also generated. And by specifying TDD, the model will generate tests for you as well. And it also changes the architecture of the application because you can't always write unit tests for certain scenarios unless you write the code a certain way. And so that's meaningful. I think this is a really good tip here. If there's any other takeaway that you have is asking the AI to also use TDD. I think that's really good. A really good idea. Lorix, I thought you said you were going to sleep. What happened? What's the deal here? So I'm happy you're still here. Then there's a question of validating the LLM's written code. AI-generated code is often incorrect and inefficient. Well, I mean, it's getting better, and if you have the right prompts, it typically works out the gate, though it takes a lot of skill to get there, so you will often find yourself in this situation where the code is inefficient or incorrect. So there are steps that you can take to remedy that. All right, I'm going to create a new segment here. So what I'm doing is I'm creating different segments. So I stop and start each time. So once that's done rendering to the disk, I will start this next segment. And we're almost done. We'll finish this off. We're like just a paragraph away. And then we'll get to this personal global guide. And then we'll be done. And that will end stream. That's when we're going to be done. We'll be ending stream then. As soon as this is ready to go, I'm going to start the next segment. And then we're off to the races. There are other articles that I wanted to read, but we didn't have time. We just didn't have time. You're not kidding? Wait, what do you mean? I'm not kidding. When you said you're going to sleep or when you said hi? I don't know. One of the two. That's how it goes. I mean, I find, oh, perfect. Okay, here we go. All right. Final segment. We're off to the final segment. Here we go. It's important to call out when you're using Claude Code to write your code that you believe ultimately that you're responsible for the code. And that's what when you're communicating with this AI, with any of the AIs that are generating code for you, you are responsible for the code that's generated by the AI. Ultimately, the responsibility of that code that's going into the PR, the pull requests, the changes that you're making to the code base it's with your name. Even though the AI wrote it for you, you're responsible for it. So you have to read the code, ensure it's well tested, have follow-up prompts, things like that. So the best you can do when you're doing generative coding is to ensure that the quality is there. Therefore, especially in any professional context, I manually review all AI written code and test cases. That makes sense. You got to read the code that it prints. Also, someone needs to be familiar with the code base because you need to jump back and make changes to it. Yeah, the AI can do it for you, and most of the time it can, but you can do a lot better working with the AI if you know the code base well. So Chris will add tests for anything that he thinks is missing or needs improvement. That's actually a cool idea. That's actually a really cool idea. So if there's a problem with the code base or you think there's a feature missing, you can just write the code and then ask the AI to fill in the features for you, either manually or by asking the LLM to write the cases. So you don't even have to write the cases. You can just say, hey Claude, write this specific test case for me, run it, see that it fails, and then make it pass by updating the code. It's actually a really cool TDD. At the end of the day, manual review is necessary to verify the behavior is implemented correctly and tested properly. Yeah, I say yes. So here's the end of it. This is the last segment of the video, and we will be looking at this personal global agent guide in the Claude MD file. All right, one more section to go. 3, 2, 1, you're actually going to sleep now. Is it actually happening? Almost there. Almost there. Good news. The stream is almost over as well. So you can go to sleep and you'll be totally fine. You won't be missing much. We're just going to walk through the markdown file here, and that will be the last segment of the video, and we'll be good to go. So that's the plan. I said, I clicked the stop recording button, but is it still counting? I'm going to have to go back and check on that. Right? I'm going to have to go and check on that to make sure that it actually ended. But as soon as this is good to go, we're almost there and we'll just finish this. We're moments away from being done for the day. And then I can go off and do some actual work, some actual things that need to be done. We're so close. We're so close to finishing this article. Okay, we're just waiting for OBS to be ready to go. It's trying to stop the recording. I clicked the button like a minute ago. We're almost there. Yeah, okay. We were talking about earlier. Perfect. Getting a newer computer that's a little bit faster. I'm fine with what I have right now. We're just going to go through. All right, let's walk through this last segment of the video where we're going to see the personal global agent, the Claude MD file. This is actually kind of neat. Let's just kind of walk through some of this. There's quite a bit here, maybe a little too much. I would say reducing this would be a good idea, but kind of just let's look through this really quick to see and understand kind of what we're looking at really quick. All right, bye Lorax. It's good to see you. Enjoy your sleeping. It's very late. So core beliefs, incremental progress over the big bangs, small changes that compile and pass. Okay. Learning from existing code, study and plan before implementing. Good guidance in general for anyone. Programmatic over dogmatic. Adopt a project reality? Adapt to project reality. I mean, isn't that a given? I think that's a given. This if we're talking about reduction, does this actually change anything? I'm wondering what would happen if you remove that. Clear intent over clever code. Yeah, it's better to be boring for sure. I like simple, clean, easy to read code, and it is always better, even when you're generating code. Simplicity, what does simplicity mean? Single responsibility per function. So if you're writing a function, if the AI is writing a function, make sure it's not like a giant function that takes multiple responsibilities. Every function should be like intentional. Avoid premature abstractions. That's always the case. Most of the time, every time. Any abstractions I tend to see are always premature and they are mostly never needed. You don't hardly ever need abstractions. You just need to have a nice, decent framework like Flask, for example, with Python. Follow the rails and just keep your code really simple and clean. No clever tricks. We don't need to do any clever tricks. Choose the boring solution. These are actually really good. I think this is probably the most important part of the file. If you need to explain it, it's too complicated. Yeah, this might be a little confusing to the model, but the sentiment's there. If it needs like additional explanation, the code that's being generated, then it's too complicated. Yeah, agreed. Break down complex work into 3 to 5 stages. We don't necessarily need to do that as much because Claude Code now has planning mode and it will do this for you. So you don't need that segment as much, I don't think. So I'm not sure what extras we get from that. Implementation flow, understand, test, implement, refactor, and commit. That's like another thing that these agentic models, we don't necessarily need these kinds of instructions because they're becoming default in the model already. So you don't necessarily. When stuck after 3 attempts, okay, so sometimes the model will get stuck and it will go into a loop. Maximum of 3 per attempts and then stop. Document where you failed, research alternatives, question fundamentals, and try a different angle. Yeah, this can be really useful at times for sure. All right, Nishad, you say, can you share the link here? Yeah. I will definitely share the link here. Give me a sec. The link is getting good results from Claude Code. If you just Google that, you'll be able to get that. But I will paste it to you in chat as soon as I figure out how to do that. 1 second. Oh, you know what? My pause button's not working. Uh-oh. Oh, well, not a big deal. All right, I'll give you the link to this in a second. We're just going to walk through the rest of this video. We're nearly done. Technical standards, architectural principles, composition over inheritance. Yes, inheritance and object-oriented programming are never really necessary. Interfaces over singletons. I think it's the other way around. I think singletons are better because they're just simpler, but that's fine. Explicit over implicit. Yeah, clear data flow and dependencies. Test-driven when possible. It's not always possible to be test-driven, but when it is, always make sure to write the tests first. I like that. All right, so there's some good stuff in here. So you can easily just go to this article. So I'm going to paste the article here, and then you put this in your directory, and every time you run Claude Code CLI, you will get these extra principles, and it will improve the output of your code quality with your Claude Code. All right, Nishad, I'm going to get you that link really quick, and then we're going to end stream. Give me a second. I'm going to hide the screen, and I'll be jumping into a way that will allow me to give you access to this link. 1 second here. I'm pulling up the stream, and then I will paste it in for you so that way you have the link. And then you'll be able to copy and paste the markdown file, and that will help you with your code. So I'm just moving over here really quick to the live, and then I will type that in for you. Uh-oh. There we go. Let's just pause that. All right. I popped up the stream. All right, the link is incoming. 1 second. We're almost there. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Got it. You now have the link. I sent it to you. There we go. We did it. Success. All right, so that we were able to complete this article in 1 hour and 12 minutes, which is a little long to go over an article, but we succeeded, and that's it. We win. We finished it, and now we know a little bit better about how to get our AI coding assistants